All right, folks. So next, I want to talk a bit about this Egyptian student at a flight school in Los Angeles who was recently become an international celebrity of sorts because he made a Facebook post saying that he wouldn't mind a life sentence for killing that man. I believe that's what he said. I'm not going to get the exact quote right here. I don't have it written down, but essentially what he said is he wouldn't mind taking a life sentence for causing the death of Donald Trump. He'd be doing the world a favor. Next thing you know, the guy is under Secret Service investigation. Apparently, the quote got back to the head of the flight school that he was studying at in California, who then called the FBI. The FBI called the Secret Service. Secret Service investigated it. They contacted the State Department. The State Department revoked his visa. That wasn't quite enough to get him arrested for being here on a revoked visa. So they contacted the head of the flight school, had him expelled from the school, and then he could be arrested for being here in violation of the terms of his visa. I think that's rather circuitous because I would doubt that you can make terroristic threats and not violate the terms of your student visa, but that's another issue. So in any case, let's just put it this way. Two central questions come out of this thing. First of all, how did he threaten Donald Trump? And the second question is, what is right or wrong about the response of the federal government, the U.S. federal government, in response to this issue? The first question is, how did he actually threaten Donald Trump? Now, he didn't say, I would shoot him or I will shoot him or whatever. But what he did was present himself as personally willing to become involved in the death of Donald Trump, which makes him a threat. And that's the critical issue about the menacing laws, is that you can't either threaten overtly or indirectly another person without triggering a whole raft of anti-crime measures, which have already decimated our freedoms and rights and liberties in this country. I mean, literally destroyed them, because the menacing laws take precedence over all of them, okay? And a lot of your rights also as an individual and constitutional liberties, constitutional rights, constitutional liberties, whatever you want to call them. And the big issue is that in this case, because Trump is also a leading candidate for president, he's under Secret Service protection, he gets the full protection of the Secret Service as a political figure, and that just doubles down on the whole issue. The third issue that really comes up here is that, well, if he's threatening to kill Donald Trump, what else is he threatening to do? Okay, now maybe he's not personally, maybe he's not personally threatening to kill Donald Trump. He's not going, I'm going to kill that nigga. Okay, maybe he's not quite saying that, but he's still active in the discussion of causing his death, which raises the issue of him as a threat to Trump. If he's a threat to Trump, who else is he a threat to? And suddenly the issues come up like, how did this guy even get into flight school in the United States in the first place? Didn't we learn our lesson from 9/11? I remember seeing articles asking that very question in the days immediately following this revelation. And I knew this was going to come up, and I knew it was going to come from the right wing. People are all going, oh, his civil liberties are being curtailed. Oh, this is a bad thing for democracy and free speech and all this kind of stuff. I said, but people are whining. Look, fact of the matter is, there are legitimate issues of national security here, and there are superfluous issues of personal security here, but both are enough to get a Middle Eastern student in a flight school in the United States here on a student visa kicked out of the country, at least on a visa violation. And that's being kind, okay? seriously being kind. The fact of the matter is that the United States government and most local and state governments have declared for themselves that they have the power to arrest and detain and investigate anyone who threatens somebody else and hold them indefinitely for as long as they see fit to do so, as long as there is a significant threat, a serious threat of physical harm to that person, to the person that they've threatened. The definitions of threatening and of a threat or to be a threat are unlimited, essentially unlimited. It is entirely up to the discretion of the law enforcement and judicial agents involved in the case to determine what is not a threat, what should be taken seriously, what should not be taken seriously, what is an issue of concern, why this person should be held. We, as American citizens, we have no rights once that issue has come up into play. As a foreign national here on a visa, they are below having no rights. Okay, give the United States government even a fraction of an excuse to kick you out, and you are gone. It's not an issue of liberty or free speech. It is a simple issue of the laws of this country, national security, and the intersection of that and public fear. It's really that simple. Now, the whole crux of the matter is that the judiciary and the legislature and the American public, by virtue of the legislature, have combined to grant the United States government and most state and local governments the authority to intervene and prevent personal injury as they see fit to do so. You have to accept that because that is not going to change. It's not going to go away. The simple question is whether or not it is actually a legitimate concern. That is the sole determining factor. This guy is still in jail. He's being held in jail until he's put on a plane and personally escorted back to Egypt. And I will say this, I will say nothing more. The history of this country is rife with examples of people who seemingly were normal people going about their normal everyday lives who suddenly decided to do something ranging from slightly crazy to seriously crazy to borderline insane to outright nuts. And that's how it's looked. Give me a sign, I'll assume the worst case. That's how it's done.